No, I'm going to try to make this video very, very short, but this is something that's been weighing on my mind for quite a while. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I know for years, a lot of liberals are whining and crying about the names of sports teams, especially the Washington Redskins. And they, and then of course we got the baseball team, the Cleveland Indians, and, just a number of, I guess you say, Native American themed sports teams' names. But I just want to know something. First of all, I'm not even a football fan, just so you know. I wouldn't care if football never got played again. I think it's a ridiculous sport. I've never liked it. I mean, whoops. I always hated these, I would always see stories of mostly men, but some women too, who were so obsessed with football, it would literally take them away from family events, and I just couldn't understand it. Like Troy Aikman was more important than their own family. So, and I don't blame Troy Aikman himself, it's just, I blame the men who thought he was more important. And there's some women too, but it was mostly men. So, for me, I absolutely hate football. I remember some years ago, in the 1990s, there was just this explosion of talk shows. I mean, there were so many of them. And not just like Jerry Springer or, Donahue. I mean, there was a number of them, a lot of you probably never heard of. But I do remember one, I can't remember the guy's name, but he had an episode once where he talked about sports fanatics. And one woman talked about how her husband was such a fanatic, he didn't want to come into the delivery room with the birth of their first child because the damn Super Bowl was on. Like, oh gee, thanks Dad. Thought you cared about me, Dad. I mean, just ridiculous. But so just letting you know, I'm not a football fan. I kind of like baseball, but I'm not wild and crazy about it. But my point is, my point is I'm not trying to save the names of any teams. I don't care what their names are. They can call themselves the Ding Dong Heads. As long as they're a good team, they're a good team. So anyways, my point is, rather than fight for these team names and whatnot, why don't you do something that'll actually help the natives? By that, I mean, let's get them out from under the land trust, which Democrats put them under in the first place. Andrew Jackson moved them onto these reservations. He sent his military to herd them up like cattle. And almost half of them died. And they were given land that was not very good for growing anything, not good for grazing. And even today, these natives, this land trust, what it means is that the government is holding their land in trust to keep non-Indians from buying the land. Now, if a Native American wants to sell his land, he should be able to sell it to whoever he wants, native or not. If it's a white person, a black person, Asian, Hispanic, whatever, they should be able to sell their land to anyone they damn well please, just like I can. Well, if I own land, I don't. But anyways, for some reason, they thought this was a good idea. I don't know why. The thing is, Native American lands are packed with all kinds of natural resources, but they're not allowed to mine for it. This would do so much to pull them out of poverty. These reservations are among the poorest areas in the United States. I mean, some of the natives who are in movies like Dances with Wolves, many of them were able to get off the reservations. I mean, there are some natives who are actors, comedians and such. They're just not real super popular, so they're not making the money they need. But the point is, the government holds in trust only for people who are children, of course, and for people who are severely mentally deficient, who just can't handle things on their own, who need some kind of help. I mean, can't anything else show you what the low regard that our government holds Native Americans in? I mean, they put them in the same class with children and the mentally deficient. I mean, that alone should speak volumes, and you're crying about the name of the Washington Redskins? 9 out of 10 natives don't care about the Washington Redskins. They want to know how they're going to feed their kids. You got AOC just saying that, oh, you're working 100 hours a week and you can't feed your kids, which if that's the case, you've got too many kids. There's no way someone's working 100 hours a week and can't feed their kids. Unless you're Native American, probably, on a reservation. And, I don't understand why you say you care about the natives, and then this idiot Nathan Phillips, who wasn't even a Vietnam vet anyway, he was a cook or something. He never even stepped foot on a battlefield. But why isn't he worried about this? This is something that should be on his mind, not telling us to go back to Europe, which I can't go back someplace I've never been. I am of Polish descent, but I've never been to Poland. Never been there. I can't go back to Poland. I've never been there. Never been. Have no idea what it looks like except for pictures. So anyways, I mean, this just bothers me. Rather than doing something that will help, I mean, you want to hold me responsible for slavery 200 years ago. I've never owned a slave. America ended slavery. And now you're lying and telling people that the Revolutionary War was because the British wanted to free the slaves. Actually, that's pretty much the opposite. America freed our slaves 50 years before the Brits did. The British still kept theirs. So, we pretty much led the way for these slaves to be freed. Anyways, y'all just go changing history or you just don't research it. Like Wounded Knee, you literally think it was about racism, although that was part of it. It was mostly about gun control. But, gun control has a very racist history, by the way. Natives were forbidden, blacks were forbidden once they were freed. I mean, pretty much only whites were allowed to own guns for a number of years. So, gun control is highly racist. Look at its history. I mean, Hitler took the guns from the Jews and look what happened to them. But then again, you are anti-Semite now, so you probably don't care. But my point is, if you want to do something to help the natives, what you need to be doing is fighting to get the reservations out from under the land trust. And by the way, somewhat off the point, but not completely, there's a really good comedy special. It's available on DVD. It's a group of comedians who are Native American, and boy, were they funny. It's called Going Native. It was called Going Native Comedy Jam, No Reservations Required. It was kind of a pun on the word reservation, and even these natives thought that was funny. I think one of them came up with it. But these natives were just real super funny, and I think some of you will really enjoy them. They were able to laugh at stuff like John Wayne and Dances with Wolves, and which most natives ended up liking Dances with Wolves. And I personally don't watch John Wayne movies, but it's mainly because I hate the fact that people call John Wayne a real cowboy. He was an actor playing a role, just like Johnny Depp. And older westerns, horses were often badly abused and even killed making those movies. And although I don't blame John Wayne for that, I will not watch those old movies because if they would trip these horses and shock them or whatever they had to do to make them do what they wanted them to do. So again, I don't blame John Wayne himself, but the fact is he did accept it and keep making the movies. But anyways, you might want to find this Native American DVD. It's really funny. These natives were just hilarious. It's a few years old. I know it was made while Obama was president. So it's at least 5 years old, I think, but it may be older, because I think it was filmed very shortly after Obama took office. But long story short, you want to help the natives. I'd say support, when you can, Native American, like in this case, comedians, actors. Support their businesses if they have one near you. And start speaking out on the land trust. These natives, there's a really good book about this. It's called The New Trail of Tears, How Washington is Destroying the American Indians. And the fact is, this land trust is a Democrat thing. Andrew Jackson's the one who did this. And he was the founder of the Democratic Party. So if you really care about the natives, shut up about the Washington Redskins, and let's do something that will actually help them.